Honorable Nyonka asked, it's that it could be answered in question number 3.
Okay, so let's deal with it. Let's go back to where we were before the intervention by Senator Chirarkei.
Whether the county carried out any special audit of its payroll, and if so, what the recommendation arising from the auditors were and the status of implementation of the recommendations. Management, 1. Of course, I've just read that, number 1. Number 2, the National Treasury. Now that's where the question of the Auditor General comes in, that the National Treasury carried out a special audit of the payroll for the national and the county governments, covering the period of January 2016 and the 30th September 2021. The audit was aimed at assessing adherence to financial and administrative procedure in conformity with the rules and regulations, as well as compliance with its internal control system. The raw payroll data used for the audit was obtained from the State Department for Public Service, IPPD section. The recommendation from the review of the payroll of the county government of Kisii were: A, the county to take administrative action against employees who were drawing salaries from both national and the county government. B, investigate and act on cases of employees sharing personal details such as payroll numbers, national identification card, tax pins, and bank accounts. C, investigate and act on cases of employees whose birth dates were amended. D, investigate and act on cases of unauthorized person and employees editing their own records. E, conduct regular payroll cleansing. F, undertake monthly payroll audit before processing the payroll. And G, strengthening access control and management of password to guard the payroll from non-designated users. Attached in the Annex 1, a copy of the letter from the Ministry of Public Service communicating the findings of special payroll audit and recommendation for the action. Is the Annex 1A is there. This is the communication, and it shows the exact numbers of what I've read out, Chair. B, response of the county government to the various issues raised by special audit of the payroll. Now that's if you check B, that's where my government must have responded to all issues raised by the Auditor General, Chair. That's,
so the special audit was carried out for the period 1st January 2016 and 30th September 2021. When was the audit carried out? So that's a period of audit. But what's the actual date of the audit?
No, this is a report by the National Treasury, which carried out that audit again.
I'm struggling to because Annex 1A is to the County Secretary, County Government of Kisii. It's dated 1st September 2022.
On the findings of the audit they carried out 2016 to 30th September 2021.
Even though, Governor, you just mentioned that if there was another audit, you are not aware of it. But now we have a letter here that points to an audit.
On specifics.
Yes.
Yes, of these sharing. One sharing of IDs, bank accounts, same.
And if indeed these were the findings, how would you then say there was no payroll fraud if you have 24 cases of shared bank accounts, 92 cases of officers with the same ID numbers?
192.
192 cases. 1,029 cases of duplicated arrears payment.
You see,
Isn't that what you define as payroll fraud?
this is an audit query, which response was given again to Treasury, which in Annex B. 1B.
Annex.
Annex 1B. So there is that response which my people give out.
So in Annex 1B, you have disputed those revelations by the National Treasury?
That is it.
All of them have been disputed. Which would then mean that there is no problem in Kisii. There's no payroll problem.
There is a big payroll problem, and I want to, because by the time of, again, I want to state clearly here, there is a big problem, which again we are addressing in the subsequent, the follow-up question that you raised.
Where's the letter? Where's the letter? The specific letter responding to Treasury? I'm seeing annexures. Is there one letter that a cover letter that summarizes the response?
1B.
Because 1B starts from shared bank account, goes to employees with IPPD issues. Do you have a letter that consolidates your response?
Yes, sir. Chair, this was an audit which we responded to very comprehensively to the right office. That was around September,
the question,
December.
Duke,
Yes.
is, you know, as a Senate, we cannot look at all these things in the 1 hour that we have. So, in response to the National Treasury that had pointed out several instances of what is payroll fraud, is there a forwarding letter to all these annexures, which we can look at and get the comfort that the county government addressed the issues raised by Treasury? Or must we read through all these 400 pages?
Maybe to make it easy, an easier question, Your Excellency Governor, is there anything that ties this annexure to the questions that have been raised by Treasury?
I think that is an oversight from my team. There should actually that question that Chair is asking is there a summary of what is in that file? I don't think there
is there anything that shows that these were given to as answers to this?
That's the question.
Not in hard copy. Not in hard copy, sir. But
did you deliver them, or what are you saying?
Okay, so if you don't have them, then you don't have them.
Yeah.
And if you don't have them, then your answer to question number 2 cannot be the way it is. Because the National Treasury has flagged instances of duplications in the payroll. And if you don't have that summarized response to the National Treasury, then we cannot, as a Senate, agree with you that you dealt with all the issues. Senator Arati.
I think, Governor, you should have, when an audit has been raised, for example, and Kisii, before you came, you must have been the county of wonders. Because I can see you are born and work in Kisii. 5 cases of engagement of underage persons. So you should have highlighted on this, the underage persons they are saying, they don't exist, and forwarded to the same under the County Public Service Board. You have 4,058 cases of undeducted taxes on arrears payment, which means this is statutory deduction. So the question should be, the statutory deductions was deducted, but was not remitted to the relevant entities within government. So, and where is that it should have been, if it was remitted or not, then when it comes to Annex 1B, it should have been easy to show. If it was not remitted, it becomes a serious audit query where money has been taken 4,058. And Governor, as we are aware of Article 2265 of the Constitution, if there was personal culpability before you came office, then that individual officer, including your predecessor, would be held accountable. So what you should have done to the committee, tell us if this money cannot be seen, for example, statutory deduction, then you tell us it was not remitted, for example. If they were underage children that were engaged, and this, of course, violation of the Children's Act, they were engaged or they were not, and whether General Services was involved in handling this issue. So I think, Governor, looking at Annex B, through you, Chair, there is still, we don't know. When you say number 4, same tax, different payroll number, what does it mean? You have given us a copy of KRA, a printout of KRA, and which is, of course, in my own opinion, is not authenticated, because there should be a stamp to show that it was received or validated so that it becomes. So I think respectfully, Chair, this provision of Annex 1B should be relooked again so that it answers what the critical questions that the Treasury has raised. And therefore it goes back to the question whether there was fraud in terms of provision of human resource between 2013 and 2014, which you are not there. You were somewhere here in Nairobi, up to now 2021, 2022, or thereabout. So I think what you can do, unless, Chair, in conclusion, I've heard Governor saying he's not aware of some of the documents, then you must have your county secretary write to the committee whether non-provision of documents or your predecessor, so that we see as a committee how we can proceed from there. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Senator Onyonka.
Chair, thank you. I wanted to ask this question to the county secretary because it falls under your purview. If you look at Annex 1A, this one you could share between you and the HR boss. If you look at Annex 1A, 24 cases of shared bank accounts, 192 cases officers with IDs, 4 cases with payroll numbers but different ID numbers. You have been in government now for how long? Over 25 years.
Yes.
And were you in the previous administration, or you also came when governor came in? Yes.
I was there, sir.
You were there, thank you.
The question applies to both
Yes.
officers?
Yes. The question I'm asking is, the governor came in, he was sworn in the governor, you were appointed as the county secretary, he was there as a human resource boss. What did you advise the governor to do with all these issues raised here? Did you report to the DCI, the individuals who were supposed to be arrested? If the crime was broken, did you write correspondence to the institutions that are meant to manage such activity?
Thank you, Chair. Of course, with the permission of our governor, the response to this letter from National Treasury is there. I have been told, it's been confirmed that the response is there. That it's on soft copy, only that the Director of Human Resource did not bring it along. So, Chair, this response...
County Sec, you know there's nothing you can do. Now we cannot accept it.
Thank you.
Because you were asked officially to hand over documents to this committee, and you didn't. So for now, I believe without overruling the chair, I think I will allow chair to make that ruling.
You want to... is there something you want to add?
Chair, just to confirm that the responses to all these queries we responded to this letter, we gave evidence. It's only that the document was so voluminous, we could not be able to print hard copies. But the response is there. We exonerated the county from all this.
So, if you exonerated the county from all this, what is this problem that Governor Simba is trying to fix? Because what you're saying is the National Treasury carried out an audit, identified all these issues, and you guys responded and sorted out all those issues. Why are you wasting public funds in another audit if there's no problem?
What is the audit for?
Governor, what is the problem? You are saying there was no payroll fraud. You are saying the National Treasury carried out an audit. Your officer said they responded to all those issues and there was no problem. So what is this problem that Governor Simba is trying to fix in Kisii?
Chair. Chair, to be told is that, again, I think is a way of doing things before. Again, where an audit is raised, then my officers responded as they wanted. even that response to the Auditor General is only, it was only to cure their problem. But indeed, there is that problem. These, even including double payments is there. And that's exactly what we are doing. That's the problem we want to fix. Chair, in the audit which has been carried out, again with KRA, there is clear double payment. Not necessarily from the county, but people working in the county, again, working elsewhere. Therefore, submission to KRA, there are two taxes paid from different employers.
Governor, let me just stop you. Having looked at the County Governments Act, the head of the County Public Service is a county secretary.
Yes, we see.
And then you have the County Public Service Board, which acts on behalf of the county government. If there was misrepresentation of facts, then two persons must be held to account: the Chief Executive Officer and the head of the County Public Service. The reason why we are here is because we are made to understand that there is a HR problem in Kisii County. If, as a result of this audit, someone wrote back and said there is no problem in Kisii County, we need to know who that person is. And we need to take them to account. And they need to be held to account for the subsequent expenditure that is being incurred on an audit that is going on. So maybe the reason why we don't have that letter that I was asking for is because your team does not want us to know who is it who cleared the audit issues by the National Treasury.
Chair, the response to the Auditor General, again, I would have expected that this question, because if there was an answer again from the Auditor General, because they have not gotten an answer against the audit they had carried out, therefore we'd be in the position to say, indeed, what is there, this is it. But in the attachment, I don't know, this, if you can see this one in your file, is written A. Where did you plug it?
What is
Annex
it?
2A. Chair, you get the people again. It's good that they're bringing them out. The shared bank account affects officers whose salaries are paid to force account of the following circles. Then those officers, they have been enlisted their chair. Same payroll numbers. I think this is the response again they must have given out. It's in the 2A. You'll get the names there. And the responses there in.
Governor, I want to allow my members to come in, but what we must agree on, your answer number 2 says there's no problem, there's no payroll fraud.
Yes.
Your answer number 3, we've got a treasury audit that says there's payroll fraud. And you have said that you have responded to those issues comprehensively. What we must agree on, without taking too much time, is there a problem that occasioned your second audit? Or is it your position that the first audit unveiled all issues and they were sorted out? That's what we must agree on, because you can't speak from both sides of the mouth. You can't say number 2 that there's no problem, and then in explaining number 3, you go ahead to describe a problem outside your written response. I don't know whether I'm the only one who's getting a bit confused. But let me ask Senator Omar, Senator Dulo, Senator Omtata, then we come to Senator Nyonka.
Chair,
Senator
Chair, the response of Governor number 2 in Annex A, there is these reports done by Treasury with so many reports to be audit queries